Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Let me know you are watching today. Say hello as you're hopping on. I would love to say hi to you guys. I hope things are going well where you're watching from. We haven't had any crazy weather since the last time I talked to you guys, which we are thankful for that. I can barely see around the snow drifts to turn corners in our town, and so I really don't want any more snow. And I could do without ice. I could do without any kind of precipitation. So far we're doing good. So let's see who is hopping on today before we chat about the kind of promotion that we have for everybody. We've kind of been giving little hints of what was coming this week. So it is not a new release, but we are celebrating our semi-annual, I think we do this twice a year, we were just talking about it, our semi-annual product retirement sale. So we are not retiring, we are simply trying to find good homes for some of our much loved products so we can make room for new things to come into our warehouse. Good morning, Susan. Hello, Betty out in Maryland. Hi, Lisa. You get to watch live because they canceled school for ice. John said this morning as we were getting the kids ready for school that we are supposed to get some ice tomorrow, and we're crossing our fingers that doesn't mean more canceled school for us. So I'm sorry to hear that actually, I don't know. Some people love having snow days, but if it's a good thing for you, then hooray. If it's not, then hopefully kids are back to school soon. Hello, Tammy, and Peggy's here this morning, and Marie. Maggie, good morning. Hello, Barbara. Ooh, chilly in the UK. Brr. Hello, Beth out in California. Sally's got freezing rain in Michigan today. That's, I feel like the topic of conversation for the winter is what is the weather doing? What are we expecting? What's it like currently? All of that stuff. If we can just brave through these next couple of months, then I feel like we have some renewal to look forward to on the other side when the spring comes and everything starts to bloom again and you can smell that kind of dirt in the air. I feel like I smell dirt in the spring. Anybody else? It might just be all the snow melting and then all the dirt that's in the snow kind of smells. Maybe that's just me, but I kind of like it. It's the promise of spring is on the way when I start to smell the dirt in the air. So all right, who else is here today? Hi, Gloria. Marge, Southeast Iowa. Hello, Kelly. Waiting on 2 orders from TE due to bad weather. Oh, I know. I've been waiting on packages too. It's just the mailman can't get to us. They can't get through the roads and get to the mailboxes on those bad days. So yes, we are still shipping out packages daily. So I know it's just taking a little bit longer. It's hard to wait for those goodies to get here once you've placed that order. So hopefully it will be there soon for you. Bonnie, you smell dirt too. Okay, thank you for not letting me hang out there on my own with the smell of dirt. But all right, you guys, as I mentioned, today we kicked off our retirement sale. So we do this a couple times a year where we have to make room for what's new. There's always something new coming, and it's hard for me because when we release these products, each one has a little piece of me, something that I'm usually very proud of putting out there for everyone to use. And so when we have to make decisions on what is time to retire, it's not one of my favorite times. But for you guys, it might be one of your favorite times. This means big sales, good prices on some products that you may not have picked up in the past. Or if you're a newer kind of crafter who has discovered Tailored Expressions, then this is a great way for you to get some of those old favorites that we've had in our catalog that might be very new to you. So let me put up this graphic so you guys can see exactly what is going on today. You can find all of the products in the retirement sale up at the top of the Tailored Expressions website. You will see a category called Sale, and then you'll click that and drop down to the retirement sale. When you click into that category, you will find all of the products. I was just there. I think there's about 9 pages of products that you can search through. And we have a sale going on. So everything is 30% off. It starts at 30% off when you purchase $1 to $99. Now, if you get $100 to $199 in that retirement sale category, it goes up to 40% off. If you purchase 200 or more from that retirement sale category, then you get the 50% off. So that's kind of how the tiers work. You'll also notice when you're in the category, the product price that's shown is the regular price. Once you add it to your cart, you will see the reduced price on the sale. And then as you continue to add more products, you may see that price change when you hit the new tier. So you'll want to pay attention to the pricing that's in your cart and not what you see on the retirement sale page. So I just suggest if you're at all interested in any of the products, just go ahead and add them to your cart and then go to your cart at the end after you've done all your shopping, and you can see the total of the discounted products that way. So hopefully that makes sense. There's no coupon code necessary, so you don't have to put anything in. It's all automatic once you add that to your cart. What else was I going to say about the retirement, the discounting portion? If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I am paying attention in the comments here. Tiffany says, of course I hit the 200 plus category. We do also have a special today, I should mention. So today only, when you purchase $100 or more, we have changed our freebie to our tag along tote. I'm going to have, if Whitney's listening, I'm going to have her bring one of those to me so I can show you guys what that tag along tote is. It's one of my favorite products we've ever designed. I still have the fabric prototype that my mom sewed for me. So we had this idea for a little case that you can carry your goodies in. There are so many different things that fit in this case, and you can take it to your crops, or if you're coming to the studio for make and takes, or you're just going on a quick road trip. And this is, like I said, only available for purchases today. So purchases of $100 or more will get this tag along tote. Do we have another one, Whitney, that has anything other than blender brushes in it?
No, I don't.
Okay, well,
fill it?
I can just talk about it too.
Okay.
So we like to store our blender brushes in this, so that's what I have in mine. And you can see that we have 6 blender brushes in each of the cases of the tag along tote. So you can store easily your 10-piece brush set. And then this cute little zipper zips around these cases. The cases come in and out of the tag along tote. So if I just pull one out, you can see that leaves one side of my case empty, or one side of my tote empty, and I can take the case out and just use that. The other nice thing that fits in these, so sometimes if I have a certain project that I'm working on, I will put the blender brushes for that project in one side of my tote, and then in the opposite side, mini ink cubes fit perfectly in there. So you guys are, those of you that order today and get $100 or more are going to get the tag along tote, and you're going to get the 100 plus freebie, the tag along tote, plus the 40% off once you reach that over $99. So hooray for that. Candy likes storing foiled and stamped sentiments in her tag along tote. That's another great one. There are so many different things you can put in these, and I like using them as little kind of project cases when you're crafting on the go and you just want to bring a small number of supplies to work on a specific project. You can put colored pencils in there, you can put markers in there, you can put your scissors and a little bottle of glue and lots of stuff. So and again, that is today only. So tomorrow the freebie will switch back to our Easy Edgers, which is the freebie for January. We've talked about that quite a bit. Okay, you guys, one of my favorite parts of retirement sale, we get to craft together. We have a little bit more time to craft because I don't have to go through every single product that's retiring. That would take the entire hour. So instead, we're gonna craft together. We're gonna use one of the products that is on our retirement sale, combining it with some things that are newer in our catalog, so you can get an idea of how you might want to use this background stamp that I'll be using with other new stuff that we've released recently. So I'm going to bring you down here and you can take a look at the cards I created. So I'm calling this one background, 4 cards. So I use the same background stamp on all of these different cards. This is the one we're going to be making together on the live, but you can see lots of ideas for using this background, which is called Crafty Collage. So yes, it's super fun. It's called Crafty Collage because all of the sentiments in this background are for kind of inspired by crafting. So it says, you bling me joy, you inspire me, let's get together, do something creative, I craft so hard, I sweat glitter is at the bottom. Crafty friends are the best. We have do something creative every day over here, handmade hugs. So lots of different sentiments to send to your crafty friends. And you can either make this background the star of your show, or you can fade it into the background and kind of make your recipients guess as to exactly what those sentiments say. Another thing that I've seen people do is cut apart these sentiments. So especially the ones that are kind of along the outer edges, those would be easy to cut with your trimmer after you have stamped, and whether you're going to emboss it or whatever you're going to do to it, you can cut out some of those sentiments and use them on their own. If you like fussy cutting, then you could also take your scissors and cut around some of the interior sentiments as well. All right, so let's take a look. I'll walk you through the cards that I created that we won't be covering today, but I wanted to show lots of different ways to use this background. And of course, I love rainbow, so I've given you lots of rainbow today, right? Let's take a look at this one up here. I have a really fun announcement to make. You guys loved these A2 postage stamp stacklets during our Valentine release, and they just arrived yesterday and were added back into inventory. So if you were on the notification, you should have gotten a notification that those are now back in stock. If you weren't and you've just been waiting for them, then now is your chance. So that's what I used on the background here to create that postage stamp border. I used a plain rectangle die to cut out the inside, so I ended up with a frame instead of a solid piece. And then I popped my rainbow background, which I stamped with that Crafty Collage and embossed with white embossing powder. To continue with the postage theme, I used our new pretty postage die to cut out this tiny little postage stamp. As you might know, these dies coordinate with the freebies that you receive with every order from TE. And this month for January, it is a snowflake, and so every order you will get that little snowflake stamp. I should tell you, so I misspoke. This year, the stamps, the little stamps you receive free with your orders, are just going to come in your package. They are not going to be in your order envelope. So last year when we did dies, those are very thin and they fit easily in the envelopes, and we can stack all those envelopes at our shipping tables. But the stamps are thicker, and so we're not able to fit as many in there. So instead, our shipping team is just going to be pulling one of those and placing it in your package. It's still in a bag with a sticker on it, so just be on the lookout inside of your package for that little snowflake freebie. And then in months to come as well, we'll just be adding those into your package, not in the order envelope. Okay, glad I got that little tidbit of information out there. But I was so excited to find that this stamp set, it's been in our collection for a little while. It's still one that I pull out a ton. It's called Little Critters, and it has coordinating dies to go with it. And they fit so cutely inside that little postage stamp. I mean, how cute is that llama just popping out from there? And then let's talk about these, because this is the one we're going to make together today. So I'll show you guys these next. I've got a couple of retiring products on this one. You can see that background. I did the same technique again where I blended my background and then I stamped over the top in white. You can also emboss in white first and then blend over the top if you want to do that resist technique. But sometimes when I want my white embossing powder to stay really bright and crisp, I blend my paper first and then I emboss over the top of it. Sometimes when you blend over the top of your embossing powder takes on a little tinge of that color that you've blended over the top. So if you like that really crisp white, then you'll want to emboss over the top of your blended piece. Then the other retiring product on these two cards, we've got this Hooray stamp. And this is actually one word, and I just cut it in half. So sometimes when I say hooray or hooray, I pronounce it hooray. And so I thought this made sense to kind of cut it in half so it says hooray. And then I put a couple of the sentiments at the bottom from our recently restocked mini strips Sending. And that was from our Valentine release this year, along with those postage stamp stacklets. So that's another one to look for that's recently been restocked and now available on the website. This one, I did get 2 cards out of one background, so I just cut it at the diagonal there, and one is positioned at the top and one at the bottom. So a great 2-for-1 idea when you use that full background piece that you created. Okay, so let's get to crafting together. This is the fun one we're going to make today. And as I get to creating here, I'll share with you all these different colors that I used. They are the same colors, so the cardstock that I used, that's the same color that I used to blend as well. So as I talk about these cardstock colors, just keep in mind that I used the same colors to blend on my on the cards that used the blended panels. So something that's kind of fun about this one, I actually put together my striped background first, and then we're going to emboss over the top with clear embossing powder. Originally, I created this with white embossing powder, and it was just too busy. Too many words in white embossing powder didn't allow my little critters to stand out, and so I redid it and thought it looked great with a little clear embossing powder. So we're going to start with that element of the card. I'm going to grab my pieces of cardstock here, and we're going to start by cutting those strips. Now we do have dies that can cut strips for you. They're called easy strips. However, on this card, I wanted to get lots of different sizes. So currently in our easy strips, we have 1/4, 1/8, and 1/2. But I'm using 3/4, 3/8, 1 inch. So I'm using lots of different sizes of those stripes. And so I'm just going to cut them with my paper trimmer. So I'll grab that first. This is where you'll want to take notes in your, if you have it, in your Facebook Live notebook, or if you're keeping a little piece of paper. I am going to share with you the specific measurements that I used here. So this first color is Dragon Fruit, and I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch. And I'm actually positioning it. What I love about this cutter that I'm using is that I can position my paper over to the opposite edge, so I don't have to do it on this side and then have very little paper here to kind of hold in place. When I'm cutting thinner measurements, I like to use this measuring part that's over on the right side of my cut line, and that gives me accuracy and also stability when I'm cutting those cardstock pieces. So this is 1/2 inch Dragon Fruit. Now we're going to move to Candy Corn, and this one is going to be 3/8 of an inch, just a little bit smaller than 1/2 inch. Okay, now we'll do Pineapple. Pineapple is going to be the smallest one that we do, and that's going to be 1/4 inch. So Pineapple, 1/4 inch. Now we have one of my current favorite greens that I've been doing in my rainbow is Dill Pickle. I actually pulled this out of my scrap drawer and it was already the right width, so I'm not going to cut this one, but this is Dill Pickle and it is 1 inch. So there's Dill Pickle, 1 inch. Then a great coordinate for Dill Pickle is Kiwi, and for this one I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch. And then next up we have Blue Raspberry. And Blue Raspberry is going to be 3/4 of an inch. There we go. Now, one little tip I could give you is you should do a bunch of these at the same time. I'm only making one for you here in the live, but think of how easy it would be to just cut this same width strip many times. Use up these, I've got all different sizes of scraps here. Just use up what you have of your scraps and create several of these backgrounds. Then you can stamp them all at the same time and you can have several different cards that you can make instead of just one. Okay, this last one I have is dried fig, and I'm going to do 3/8 of an inch on this one. All right, and now I have a piece of white cardstock, and then I am going to grab this sticky sheet. So at TE, we have our sticky sheets that we sell in already pre-cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I grabbed a piece of cardstock here that I believe is 4 1/4 inches tall, which is really the only thing that matters to me. This length here can be trimmed based on where we stamp our sentiment. So I'm just gonna put this down in the middle here. And I'm going to pull this down towards the bottom. I don't want to pull it all the way off because you can see my sticker paper is longer than my cardstock. And so when I pull this whole sheet off, it gets real sticky on the back and it's harder to handle. So I'm just going to let that sheet fall back into place here. And then I'm going to take my scissors. With that backer still in place, I can easily make it through to cut off that excess before I remove the sticky backer from the front. All right, so now we're going to peel this side. And we're just going to start adhering these. It's kind of up to you if you want to line them all up across the top. If you're confident in your scraps being straight, you can just line up these colors across the top and let them hang off of the edge here. I'm going to make sure that they butt up against each other, kind of pulling them toward each other as I adhere them so we don't have any white space peeking through in between our colored strips. I like to kind of rest it up against the strip, the previous strip. All right. Here's the kiwi. Next we have our blue raspberry. And dried fig. Okay, now I'm going to take my paper trimmer and we are going to just trim this excess of the kind of leftover sticky portion off of the side. I like to use my paper trimmer for that and not get my scissors gunky. And then we'll turn this over and I can see on the back exactly where to cut these other pieces off. And then we can either toss those, or if they're big enough to save, then we can save those for the next one. All right, so here we are. On this particular card, I have my stripes traveling vertically, but you could also do it this way if you wanted to try that. My paper is not cut long enough to do that for this card, so I'm going to stick with it the way that I originally designed it and do it this direction. I have just a little smidge of an overhang on the top, so I'm going to take and cut the top off just ever so slightly. So this is how it is eventually going to sit on our card base. Ashley asked if the Big Grumplings are being retired. No, they are not. Big Grumpy is going to be staying in our collection. We have a cat and a bear. However, we are retiring the accessory sets. So that gives us an opportunity to maybe come up with something different, some new sentiments for Big Grumpy. So it's just the accessory sets for Big Grumpy that are being retired, not the Big Grumpies themselves. All right, let's go ahead then and bring in, I've got my mini Misty here today. Teal, of course. And we'll go ahead and put a little bit of tape down. I'm going to stick that right here. Grab my Crafty Collage background. I'm going to make sure that I got my stamp on there straight. Our cutting machine does a really good job of cutting the excess rubber straight. So if that bottom line of the stamp and the top line are straight, then you know your stamp is straight as well. Okay, so we're going to powder this striped piece. Linda is asking about kits. I can answer that question. So we are still planning to do our kit release the last Tuesday of every month. So that means next week is kit release week. And we will be doing those monthly. I think there are a few months in the year that we usually skip. I believe November because of our Black Friday offerings, and then December because of Christmas. And sometimes we skip September because it's our big birthday, Christmas, everything month. So most of the months, the last Tuesday of every month, you're gonna find a kit at TE. Susan, will I be able to spill tea on Thursday? Maybe. Let's talk about that. I should tell everyone to make sure they tune in on Thursday because Susan is launching a brand new product for us. So sometimes we've been throwing those in on Thursdays, so make sure you're tuning in then to see what she has to share with you. Okay, so I stamped that twice with the Versamark ink. I think I've got it all. And I'm going to take my clear embossing powder then. Got a piece of scrap paper that I can pour that onto. The great thing about clear embossing powder is it's just going to do kind of like what Versamark does on its own. It creates a darker effect on the portions that you stamp and emboss with clear. So it's not quite as busy as doing something in a color like white or silver. It just gives you that tone on tone effect. And it's great for this when you have multiple colors of cardstock and you can't do that tone on tone effect with each of these different colors without something like the Versamark, and then adding the clear embossing just gives it a glossy effect and it turns out super cute. All right. Let's go ahead and get the heat tool warmed up. The great thing about clear embossing powder is you can really see when it changes to being fully heated. It turns from like a dusty, almost whitish color to glossy. So it's easy to see if you've missed any spots. Turn it around here. right, let's see what that looks like. Cute, cute, right? Oh, I'm getting lots of questions. You have lots of questions today. Rachel asked, do you know when the Hang On Hearts dies will restock? It's going to be soon. I received the shipping notification, and so I know that means they're going to arrive soon. And that will definitely be in time for Valentine's Day if you're waiting on those. So make sure you get signed up for restock notification if you're not already. And then somebody else asked, do we know when we will release the 6x6 background that was part of our Black Friday? All of those items that we have released in the past are kind of on a we'll see. I don't have that one planned in, but just stay tuned. It was one of my favorites. The name has escaped me, but is it like Twinkling Lights or Twinkle Lights? Something like that. Okay, so we've got that background piece finished and it's going to fit on our card. We might as well just go ahead and glue that down now that we've got it done. Make sure the pink starts on the right side. And I'm just doing the eyeball to make sure that I've got it centered on there. But if you like to be more precise, you could always use your TE card maker's ruler if you wanted to make sure that each side was. You know what? My eyeball skills are pretty good. That is right on. Hooray. I love that. Okay, so card base is finished. Let's go ahead and do our little critters. I'm going to grab the Misty again this time and take out that background stamp. I have a little scrap of sugar cube cardstock that I'll be stamping these on. One of the other things I love about these little critters is they're tiny, so they're easy to color. I think that makes them easy to color. Okay, so we're going to use the unicorn, the dragon, and I'm going to replace the cat for the llama. So if you're a cat lover, use the cat like I did on the sample card. But I had used the llama on the other card that I made. So then I pulled in the cat for this one, but I thought, you know what? I kind of feel like using the llama. So we're going to do that. Stamp these in Oreo ink, which is our hybrid ink. Makes it compatible with just about every coloring medium. Alcohol markers, watercolors, colored pencils. I do like to stamp it twice. Stamp it twice and make it nice. Ooh, that's a good question. Julie asked, will there be sticker storage labels for the 2023 stencils? Yes, there will be. We have those. We're working on getting them all formatted and ready to go. You will see those hit the website. I'll just try to remember to make mention of it because we don't have a specific release that they will be a part of, but here we go. There are our little critters. Actually, I'm going to bring you in just a little bit closer. Maybe, there we go. All right, so let's get my markers out then. I have my Olo markers here. I've mentioned this before. I use the markers with the wand end, and so mine might look a little bit different than yours. I attached that end on it that we offer at the Tailored Expressions store. So these just typically you can screw two marker colors together, but I decided I liked my markers separately, so I picked up these handles, and I know some of you are the same, and so we now offer these at the TE store, and you can create your own kind of full handled so that each of your markers is just one color. All right, let's start with the llama because he's the easiest. And I'm gonna start with the color WG1. And we're just gonna add a little bit of that grayish shading around the outside of our llama head. And I'm almost just kind of touching the tip of that marker to the paper. I'm not worrying too much about exactly where my color is falling. I'm going to come in then with the 0 marker, and I'm going to pull that color in towards the center just a little bit because I don't want my llama to get too dark. I do have a WG3, which is the next shade darker than the WG1 that we used. So I'll go ahead and add just a few spots of that kind of under his neck area here where it would be shadowed on his ears. And I put a little bit on the fluff of the fluffy part of his hair. And I'll come back and again, just give a few little flicking motions to kind of pull that color into the open spaces. Maybe add a little bit more down here. Okay, llama looks good enough for me. I'm gonna do a very kind of light pink inside his ears. And I have a favorite. I have both Copic and Olo markers. I've been using my Olos more recently, and that is what we carry in the TE store, but some colors I just know what I want, and so I grab for them. I'm sure as I get more into the Olo markers, I will start to find those colors that are kind of replacements, but for now, I'm using R81 for the middle of that little llama's nose and the inside parts of his ears. Okay, let's color our dragon next. I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? YG 2.5. I got to turn this so that it makes sense for my hand the way that it holds the marker and moves. So forgive me for the angle of the coloring that you're watching here. We're just going to pull that color in towards the center of his face. I'm actually going to color his whole top of his head and leave some of that kind of snout part a little bit open. Tops of his ears and then the sides of the body. Now I'm going to come in with the lighter color, the YG 2.1. And we're going to color the middle of his little nose area here. And then I have a little bit darker green color. This is G 1.4. This one kind of best matches the dill pickle that we have. I'm going to do that on the inner parts of the ears. And then for the middle of the kind of belly and the horns, I have, this is O 2.4. And then I'll shade with O 2.5. This one. And now we have our unicorn. We'll start with the unicorn body. I'm going to use that same light grayish color, the WG1. Had to find it again. WG1 on the body of my unicorn here. I'm going to leave the snout of the unicorn just white. And then let's go ahead with hot pink or light pink. Let's do hot pink. So I'm going to start with the hair at the top here. This is another one of my favorite Copics. This is RV17, and it matches our dragon fruit quite well. So I am using it to start off my rainbow hair. Then we'll move to the O for orange, O 2.4. And then apparently I forgot my yellow. So we'll leave that open and I'll run and get that in just a second. I'm gonna pop over here and do the green. And then for the teal, I have BG 2.4. Finishing off those little parts of the hair down at the bottom. And then the purple is BV 4.5. And I did not forget my yellow, I just didn't see it. So I'm using YO 2.3, and we'll come back in and fill in this one. I did not even bother with any shading on these little hair parts. I just didn't think it was worth it. So I have one other thing I'm gonna add to the horn of our unicorn, but I need to do my die cutting first. So let's go ahead and die cut these out with the coordinating Little Critters dies. Got those here. I'm gonna move you guys out now that we're done coloring. I've got, let's see, dragon, llama, unicorn. Let's see, Shirley asked, will we be able to order the inserts separately for the cases designed to store mini strips? Yes, you already can. Those are called simple storage cases. That was the original design that does not have an insert. I assume you mean mini strips, and I mean, even our cases for easy strips, the bigger ones that just released, are also available empty without an insert. So I think all of those are currently in stock. Okay. Got all those lined up. Let's send it through. Pop out our cute little critters here. I don't think I have any more die cutting to do. Everything I have left, I've already pre-die cut. So now we get to put our card together. I'm not sure if you saw when I held this up to the camera, but look at my little unicorn's horn. It has gold glitter on it. I love it when I have a unicorn and I can glitter up the horn. Now that I have these die cut, before we move on, I'm gonna add a little more color to my unicorn's body down here. I didn't go down quite far enough. All right. Okay, so to get a gold horn, I am going to take our gold loose glitter, and I have the Nuvo Crystal Glaze, I think it's called. My label fell off the front, but I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And I'm going to add a little bit of that crystal glaze on top of my unicorn horn. And then we're going to do the glitter dip. So we're just going to take that, dip it into my jar of glitter, tap off the excess, and look at that cute glittery horn. Once it's dry, you can kind of get the rest of this excess that's just hanging out there off of your piece. You can even push the glitter in a little bit if it covered up the line of your horn, and it's just a fun little detail. And it was easy. Okay. Now to finish off our card with these three little critters, I've got our postage, our pretty postage, which was released, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. The days run together for me. But I have them pre-die cut from blue raspberry and candy corn and pineapple. So we'll go ahead and adhere our little critters inside. I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive down at the bottom on the inside of the postage stamp die cut, and then we're just gonna pop him down in here and press the die cut llama to the adhesive that I placed at the bottom there. Now to get it to stay together even better, I'm going to take some of my 1x3 strips. You can see that I've gotten into the habit of cutting these into the size that I need. So that is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take and cut a thicker strip, and we're going to overlap the outer edge of the postage stamp with the middle of the die cut piece. Now, if you wanted to cut a thin strip and put it on each side, I think you could, but I think this is enough of a pop-up to get that how I want it without having to fuss with any more adhesive. So we're going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to put the adhesive at the bottom of my postage die cut, and then we're going to kind of tuck the body of the dragon underneath there and press that adhesive into place. And then we'll go ahead and cut another strip of foam, and then we can adhere that down the center. Now this one's a little bit trickier because this probably isn't completely dry yet. So normally I would probably set this aside and wait a little bit longer, but since I don't have time for that right now, we're just going to live on the edge and try to finish this one off without messing up our pretty glittered horn. Okay, so tuck this down on the inside. Just like that. I don't want to rest it on the other opposite side, so I'm going to hold it up in the air while I add this instead of turning it over like I did the other ones. So I'll just hold it here and press down the foam tape without touching my little glittered horn. All right, I think we made it. And then I did this ahead of time as well. I have pre-stamped and embossed and die cut the mini strips sending. So I have a whole little pile over here. Sending good vibes is cute. Sending lots and lots of love I thought was cute. So I liked the length of this one too. It kind of went across the bottom of most of my little frames there. So it is time to adhere these. I am going to kind of position them, and we'll go ahead and adhere the dragon first. It's going to fit centered between the two green strips. And we'll do our llama friend next. And hang that one off the edge just slightly. And then carefully, without messing up our golden horn, we're going to add the unicorn on this side. And then a long strip. Again, I love being able to just cut these to whatever size I need. We'll do one strip here and then just a little bit to finish it off. Anybody else's 1x3 tape end up looking like fringe? Okay. Sending lots and lots of love. Make sure I have that centered there. There we go. Now we have two cute little critters cards for our crafty friends. We have a Simple Strips Crafty as well that would kind of go with the different sentiments in the background. So if you have that one, that would be a good one to pull out Simple Strips Crafty for using with this background stamp. I'll pull in all the rest of the cards that I made, so if you didn't catch the beginning where I shared, you have more ideas with this background stamp, and I'll see if I can find that. Here's that header card again. That's what it looks like. It's called Crafty Collage Background. So we used that in lots of different ways, combining it with products both new and retiring. And I hope you guys had fun today. So I'm going to say farewell, and Susan has already been here today chatting with everyone. So you guys know that she has something special coming for you on Thursday. There will be one new product. It coordinates with something we've released previously, so maybe you have it in your collection. And I know she's excited to share that project with all of you on Thursday. And maybe a little sneak peek of the kit that's coming. Our January kit releases the last Tuesday of the month, which is this coming Tuesday, a week from today. I can't believe January's already almost over, right? January, the first half of it felt like almost an extension of Christmas break with all of the no school days and all the snow days and everything mixed in there. It's been a crazy one, so it went by like that. I hope you guys have a great day, and maybe I'll see you on Thursday with Susan.